Hi. I'm looking at you. Should we say hello? Should we say hello? So we're Sarah.
And Sarah.
And we're back again for a double shot of the heebie-jeebies. Whoop, whoop. And this is not going to be the normal heebie-jeebies, right? Because...
but there could be an element of heebie-jeebies if you're being trying to be killed.
If you're trying to be killed, exactly. And mutts are involved, so we're good with that. So this is a review video, and I love the Hunger Games. So Sarah has indulged me, so that we're going to watch the trailer for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Have you read the book?
I have.
I haven't read. I've read all the Hunger Games except for this one.
Yeah, she is an amazing author.
Yes, she is.
Susan
she started
Collins.
off in film.
I know. She actually did some cartoons for Cartoon Network.
Yep.
I mean, and it's so unusual to have an author of a book actually be the screenwriter. And so she just is like multi-talented. She has more than just the Hunger Games books out there. But there was so much time between the Hunger Games and then the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes that I did not have much hope that it would be a really good book, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll read it. And of course, then I'm up at like 3 in the morning.
And she does a really good job of like hooking you in within like that first chapter.
Absolutely.
And then you're falling in love with these characters.
And the characters, it's such, it's kind of textbook how to create an amazing character, which sounds a lot simpler than what it is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like the Harry Potter books with J.K. Rowling, right? It's a little bit like Stephanie Meyer with the Twilight series, creating those characters that are in such a different world than you are, but you identify with at least one of them, right?
It's breathing life, because when they're paper people and when writers write people and books and they're just stuck on the page, you don't have that emotional. It's bringing them into the breathing life.
Yeah,
and it's very hard to create that empathy and those personalities and those voices, and she does a very good job.
Oh, she does. She does a fabulous job. So what I did find was interesting was I did want to watch the Hunger Games series again, because the Hunger Games, I don't know, do you have like a go-to series of movies that you like to watch when like you're not feeling great, but you want to watch something?
I go to historical
Historical
romance.
Okay,
it's like my Pride and Prejudice, where I know the story really, really well. And then the other one is I go to ghost shows. So it depends on like how I'm feeling, and if I want to take a nap, I watch reality TV ghost stories, and it knocks me out every single time. I get about 20-30 minutes in, and I'm out.
You're like,
it doesn't matter how scary it is. I'm like,
but
I can't fall asleep to anything else. But you put on a ghost reality show,
and you're like,
I'm like
done.
I'm done.
Yeah, so I either do Hunger Games or I do the Twilight series.
Okay.
Or at the very least I would do like third down the list would be Harry Potter, because there's so many movies in that series. What I thought was interesting about this is the director is the same as for the last two of the first set of Hunger Games.
And that was the last book, and they put it into two pieces. Yeah.
And he's one of the only directors that I've ever heard come out and say, and he just said this the last couple of weeks, that he had wished that they never split that movie up.
Oh, really?
That book up. He said it was a really bad decision, and it wasn't fair on the fans because it was a year between, and he said the continuity, he said, and he looks back on it now and he wished he had just been able to make a really long movie.
Yes.
Right?
But they wouldn't have been able to do that back then, because there's no movie theaters that would have taken them.
Exactly.
Streaming was not the way it was nowadays.
Yeah.
And they did that with DC also, with the Superman movies.
That's right, they
did. Because they did a remake, because the director had a tragedy in the family.
Yes.
And so another director came in and directed it the way that he thought it should have been done. But recently, the director who was originally, and I'm really bad with names, came back, and he and it ended up being like a 3-4 hour long movie, because he's like, I'm putting everything I need
in,
but because he was able to go straight to streaming, everybody was like, that's fine with us. That's fine with us.
The entertainment industry has changed so much. I mean, in such a short period of time, because the original Hunger Games was not that long ago. 10 years ago?
Yeah.
I think it was 10 years ago was the last ones were made. But you would never have thought of having a longer than an hour and a half film.
Yeah. And if you look at the one that they just did Dune, they did that recently where they split it into two, and I watched it, my husband watched it, and we're like, oh, we're not going to the movie theater to watch the second one. We'll wait for streaming. It doesn't make any sense anymore.
They should have, with Dune, because of the content. That's another book. Have you read that book?
I haven't read that book yet.
The whole series, the book is phenomenal. The whole series is phenomenal if you can plow through it. I mean, I think there's 6 or 7 books.
I was going to say, it's a long series.
It's a long series. I plowed through it when I was young. But with Dune, and the original Dune was awesome too. Yeah. Right? So they had a lot to live up to, and they did a phenomenal job. The cinematography.
And it's been like a year and a half.
But it's a whole story, right? You don't want to cut it. You don't want them just to be in the desert, and then you cut it off.
Yeah,
and
then people are like,
Siege,
I gotta wait 2 years to watch it.
Yeah.
And it's going to go to movie theater first, and then it goes to streaming. It doesn't make any sense anymore, especially with the long form that we're used to. We're used to constantly watching stories that are like weeks in. I mean, like 9 seasons if you look at Lost. Like, we want those continuous stories. So
absolutely.
If mood directors out there, if you're going to cut a series, don't be 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do it.
Just film it all at the same time.
People lose interest.
Yeah, they do. Now they do.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, people are like, oh man, no.
That turnaround time. And you can understand, you know, especially with like the Dooms of the world, you know, the technical difficulty, but still
you are going in. But here's the thing: is they're going into a fan base that's already established.
Yep.
So you already know that people are going to watch it, and they're going to watch a long form. So why not just give the fan what they want? Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't understand why they did that with Dune either.
No, and it's like if it's a one book, I can get it. You did the one book, now you're going to separate to the next book. But I'm like, no.
No, they split it in the middle of the book.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Boom.
They're going out in the desert, and you're like, really? This is where it's ending? Like, this doesn't...
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Especially in today's world. Today's world is totally different. I mean, totally different. Yeah, what's going on. So, anyway, we're going to watch the trailer for The Hunger Games.
And this is a prequel, right?
This is a prequel. So, Snow, Cornelius, I think it's Cornelius? Coriolis, something like that, Snow. In the original Hunger Games, he was President Snow, and he was, I'm trying to think of the actor's name, and I had it.
Keith Sutherland.
Kiefer is the
son. Donald Sutherland.
Who's such an amazing actor.
He's amazing.
And he just announced he's retiring.
I don't blame him, though.
I don't either.
He's been doing it for a long time.
A really long time. So he's actually, it's the story of President Snow and how he actually became the person who would become President Snow. Okay. So we didn't start out. So it's kind of like a tragic story of, you know, what would you do if you survive, right?
Okay.
And I think maybe in this trailer it will say, because I've seen it and it's such a fascinating tagline, you know, what would you do if, you know, a predator versus prey? If you are prey and you have an ability to become predator to survive, what would you do?
That's a good question.
And it's a really good question. And all of us like to think we would do the right thing, but maybe not.
No, that's not how people strive to power, though.
No.
I mean,
no, not at all. No. Anyway, so let's watch the trailer. Lionsgate.
Oh, there's a mockingbird.
There's the mockingjay. Trailer premiere, it says.
I love their set designs.
It's beautiful.
I'm honored to introduce to you
Viola Davis is amazing.
Themselves, Dean Casca High.
They're always
Fantastic
drinking.
actor.
He's great. one
I
victor.
have summoned you all here for the 10th annual reaping ceremony, in which we choose...
Just the idea of coming up with this type of a situation.
District 12, Lucy Gray Bear.
To keep people in
There has been
line.
a change this year. As mentor, Mr. Snow, your
There he
role
is.
is to turn these children into spectacles, not survivors.
What does my mentor do besides bring
So this is when it turns into entertainment.
you
real
really want to take care of me in that arena? Start by thinking I can actually win.
I like her spunk. So this is where the TV comes in.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they bring in this like retro vibe.
Yeah, that retro feeling to it.
Enjoy the show. This is a whole
What
thing like
happens in there, fueled with the terror of becoming prey.
That's it. Yeah.
See how quickly we become
Become
predator?
predator.
See how quickly civilization disappears?
And it's so timely for right now, quite
There's a
frankly.
natural goodness built into us all.
Is there?
We can step across that line into evil. Or not.
You hear that, boy? It's the sound of snow
Huh.
falling.
Oh! There's a
family
dig.
rarities.
Yeah.
That we all could be here for someone's final performance.
It's not just about winning. Everything is about winning.
And that's how people are different, right? And that's what's so brilliant about these stories and other stories like it, is they talk about the human condition.
yeah, and then putting them into situations that we ourselves are always curious about.
Yeah.
What we would do and assume we would do
It's
correct.
the things we love most that destroy us.
So you know that's gonna have a heartbreaking ending.
Oh yeah, for sure. There we go.
So out November 17th.
November 17th, I thought it was the 7th. So out November 17th. So we'll see.
Yeah,
It's coming out in theaters first. Apparently it's not streaming until later.
Which I don't blame them. Because this one you have, and it's been enough time that people are gonna be like,
Yeah, they're going to want to go to the movies because it's such a beloved story and series. With Dune, though, I don't know. Are they streaming it at the same time?
I don't know. They might be streaming it on HBO or one of those
Okay.
streamers, but I do know it's going to theater.
Yeah.
In fact, they have 2 years. Now this is one book, right? So this is
Yeah,
one
this
story.
is just one
contained.
contained story,
Okay.
and it's his origin story, right? So it's a villain origin story, is
Which
what
is
it is.
fantastic because most villains believe that they are the heroes if a villain's written correctly,
Yes.
and they really truly believe that they are doing right.
Yeah. But I
And-
don't, if I remember the book correctly, I don't think he thinks that.
Okay,
He's surviving.
he's surviving.
Yeah, because what I'm remembering, and I can tell you this without giving it away, he comes from a very well-off, prominent family that's lost its money.
Okay.
So then he's trying to swing the family back up to prominence, right? So that's a totally different type of pressure.
Well, yeah,
And
especially in a society like that where
abs-
they prey on the
yeah,
poor.
on the weak and the poor, absolutely. You don't want to be in the
No, you don't want to
lower
fall in that.
echelons. No, not
You
at
want
all.
that networking, I imagine, is so important
Super
in that situation. They're like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I think I know a kid.
exactly. We'll find you a tribute.
Yeah.
So, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing this. because
This
the
looks really
story
good.
The story is, I mean, like we said earlier, she's such a fantastic writer, Suzanne Collins.
And there's great actors in that,
Oh,
especially
fabulous.
when the girl does the bow. Like it's a whole.
Yeah.
There's like in Katniss, it was with that fear she was protecting.
Yeah,
So this one's like, all right,
yeah.
let's play the game.
Yeah, and that's very reflective of the bow that Katniss gives to them when she's showing off her skills in the first Hunger Games, right? She's like, meh, after she shoots a boar, yeah.
The apple in the boar.
Apple in the boar.
I remember reading that, and you're like, oh, good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it again.
Yeah, exactly. You're like rooting for them. So, which is what you want. You want characters you can root for.
Yep.
But then you can understand and be empathetic towards why somebody like a Cornelius Snow
Would do what he
would
does.
become what he became.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like the human experience, but set in a different time period, right?
Yeah,
a different
different
world.
world.
So anyway, so this is our little foray into something else other than the creepy heebie-jeebies, but you'll find we're going to do a little bit more discussion videos in the future, as well as the movie reaction videos.
Yep.
And we're looking forward to it. So
Yes, we are.
We'll see you again soon.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.